Cimoooooooo!
Welcome to Tech Tuesday, a weekly series where we discuss some awesome tech cards as well as help make you a better player. This week's card is Time Space Trap Hole, a card that we've previously discussed on the series, but this card, we're going to bring it back because it's going to take your opponent's best plays and send them to infinity and beyond. Now, Time Space Trap Hole's effect is that when a monster or monsters is special summoned from either the hand or extra deck, you shuffle all of those monsters, or just one monster, back into the deck, and then you lose 1,000 life points for each monster that was shuffled back this way. Now, why is this card a good tech card? Well, we're starting out a new format on November 9th, and I feel like this card is going to be one of the most format-defining cards, because it essentially hits almost every viable competitive deck in some way or another. So let's start with the inevitable. We know that pendulum decks are going to be huge coming out soon. And you know, we have Magispectors and Perform Mages and just all these other really powerful pendulum archetypes coming out even beyond Dimension of Chaos. And so Time Space Trap Hole is really good because if they attempt a pendulum summon, whether it's for a 2 or for 4, you can shuffle back all of the monsters that they pendulum summon back into the deck. And why that's so big, especially, let's focus on Magispectors, is that, sure, they may get all their effects off, but they're going to lose all of the monsters that they had in the pendulum zone, and they're going to get sent right back to the deck, meaning that they can't keep recurring that advantage continuously, and then say they're only searching like the spells or traps that they require the monsters to be on the field, they're not going to have those monsters anymore to fulfill those effects, making all the cards that they search essentially dead. And while pendulum decks are really good at swarming the field, they're also really good at going into monsters in the extra deck because essentially they can just keep recurring the resources to do so. And Time Space Trap Hole can help protect you from those monsters as well. And as long as they don't have a quick effect like something maybe like Exciton, you know, you can use this and stop whatever monster that they're going to be summoning out. Now moving on to Cosmo. Now Cosmo is forecasted to be one of the best decks of the upcoming format. And Time Space Trap Hole can really shine against this deck as well. Because you can use Time Space Trap Hole when your opponent goes to special summon one of the ships, because Time Space Trap Hole doesn't target and it doesn't destroy. What it will do is it will shuffle this ship back into the deck. You may lose 1,000 life points, but they're not going to get that search from the ship if it were to be destroyed, so that's going to put you in a really good position, and there's really no other way that they can avoid that. You can also use Time Space Trap Hole against Infernoids, and how you can do that is that the little Infernoids, the ones that are the really low levels, what you can do is they can't tribute themselves for cost to be able to banish cards in the graveyard during the player's turn. And so what you can do is, if they were to summon an Antra or a Harmodic or something like that, you can actually Time Space Trap Hole it back to the deck so that you don't have to worry about A, the effect that it has, and B, having it tribute itself later to be in the graveyard for more fuel for some of the more bigger Infernoids. And even with the new ban list, decks like Satellar Knights and Burning Abyss are still probably going to be around just to a minor extent because they weren't entirely hit to the point that they're unplayable compared to something like Shaddolls or Necros. And what's cool is that Time Space Trap Hole is viable against them because they're both decks that heavily rely on the extra deck. So using Time Space Trap Hole to spin back monsters like Dante or Virgil so that they don't get their effects is really powerful, and also being able to spin back any of the rank 4s that Satellar Knights might shit out is also really good. And I shouldn't forget to mention that Time Space Trap Hole is also a normal Trap Hole spell, meaning it's searchable by Myrmilio. So if you want to tech in a few copies of Trap Tricks Myrmilio as well, it just makes searching out Time Space Trap Hole all the easier. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Time Space Trap Hole. What's just really cool about this card is that it can deal with either one monster or multiple, just depending on the situation, and it's also non-targeting removal that doesn't destroy. And as I mentioned in the Storming Mirror Force video, that's really key in this upcoming format. Thank you all so much for watching the video. We'll see you next week.
Cimoooooooo!